Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you here. Today I got a really cool video. I thought I would build a water well, but this is not any ordinary water well. No, this is a real creepy one. So this well, looking really great, looking really nice, looking very peaceful, very innocent, has a surprise in the well. That's right, a zombie in the water. I think it looks absolutely really cool. You gotta check this out. So anyway, just a quick overview of the well. I got some stone effect for the well. I built the rest of it out of XPS foam. It turned out better than I expected, actually. I'm really happy with this. The wood grain turned out really great. I'm really excited to show you the process. So why don't we get to the video? I'll show you how I did it. Okay friends, I'm starting off here with just some cardboard cylinders. Now these came from some ribbon that my wife had, and cut the pieces of paper off of there and just glued these things together. This is the beginning of the well, and something that's still fairly new to me, which is polymer clay, and I decided I'm gonna start working with this. And it was actually pretty fun, I had to admit. I enjoyed it. So anyway, this is just some polymer clay here I flattened out. I used a can to make a circular cut out of this, and this is going to be the base of the well, kind of like the stone foundation around the bottom of it. So all I did was flatten that out, and then I used one of my 3D rollers and simply embossed that clay with the roller. One swipe and boom, she's done. It looks really cool. I really like this stone pattern that this roller gives off. Really looks natural to me, so I like that. So anyway, that went into the oven, baked that all up, and then started on the next part. And this is going to go around the well itself. So instead of cutting individual bricks or stone, I wanted to do something a little bit easier, but also looks really cool. And again, I just used the roller for this polymer clay, rolled it out, and then I used some of what's called bacon bond. And this is specifically for polymer clay. This helps it adhere to, it's a glue that helps it adhere to certain surfaces when you bake it. So I just put some of that on. I made sure I wanted to get these lines quite right, so I cut the clay and rolled it up, and there it is. So that's gonna go into the oven to bake. That stone looks really good. Oh yeah, really nice looking stone. So anyway, now that it's baked, I put on a base, and this is going to be the whole part of the well. I cut some pieces of XPS foam, and I used another one of my 3D printed rollers, and this is the wood grain effect. And this really looks good too. This is much quicker than doing it the old-fashioned way with either a brush or with some toothpicks or whatever. But as you can see there, that looks really good. Looks quite a bit like wood. So then some more XPS foam, and this is going to be the roof of the well. And I didn't put any kind of angle measurement on here. I just glued it up just like a teepee. And then I glued some side beams on there for a little bit of trim. Use the same wood roller to have the wood grain effect, and then after that was done, I started to build the actual supports for the roof over the well. So just hot glued those on, and they're looking really cool. I actually had to remeasure these. It was a little bit too short the first time, so remeasured them and then glued them on. And here's something that always happens that you guys never see. This is my buddy Archer. He always comes and hangs out with me while I'm grafting, and he's just he's a sweet little pup. So there he is. There's my buddy Archer. Hey everybody, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Let's go back to the video. Alright, so then I took this outside and I spray painted it just a primer brown. Got all the clay and the base all painted up. Now this is something I have not done before, but I specifically wanted to do it with this project. I wanted the grout lines of this project to remain white. I've seen quite a few projects that have that, and I really like the look of it, especially when it has the stone color, the stone on it, so that you have the white grout, and I think it just looks great. So I moved on, and then I started putting on the shingles on top of the roof, and these were cut with a hot wire foam cutter, and just went about and sliced them up and then put it all up on the roof here in random lengths. And that was the key to this, to have the random lengths to make it look disheveled, and that really brought out some interesting look. So while that was drying, I grabbed some gray paint, and as you notice here, I'm not actually painting the stone. What I'm doing is I'm using a heavy dry brush technique because, like I said, I wanted those white grout lines to remain. I wanted them to show through. I think it looks so nice. So just some heavy dry brushing, and there you go. Most of the brick has been covered up with the gray paint, and the white still shows through. So then I broke out my pigment powders again, and I went to work and I started putting some of the color on just the odd stone here and there. I didn't do too many, I didn't want it to be overpowering, and use some complementary colors, some muted colors, and boy did it ever come out nice. Look at that. I think that looks absolutely great. So after all the shingles were dry on the roof there, I started to paint it. I wanted it a bright red, knowing that I was going to dull this with black wash and with a couple of different coats of dry brushing. So again, while that dried, I took the 3D printed zombie here, and I just started to paint this up. And there's the final product. It looks pretty cool. You can see the rips in the flesh where I added a little bit of red to it. Not that you'd see that in this project, but I had fun doing it anyway, so that's what I did. So here's the actual spindle for the water bucket. I just wrapped some twine around there, glued it in place, and then affixed it to the actual structure, the beams on the roof there. And that rope actually really looks cool. It looks kind of authentic. I like it. So here comes the dry brushing. This was the first coat of dry brushing that I did. Not too heavy. Basically, you're just your normal dry brushing. I did the whole thing. I did the shingles, the wood, everything. And then I used black wash and went over the whole thing. Black washed everything, made sure it got in all the areas that it needed to. And then I went over it again with a dry brush. So after that, here I am gluing that zombie to the bottom of the well. So the bottom and the inside of the well is all painted up, and just used some hot glue and glued that guy in there. There you can see him. Pretty freaky. So after that was all done, I mixed up some resin. I wanted it a light blue. I didn't want this to be too masking. I wanted that zombie to really kind of show through. So I filled up the water bucket first, and then I started to fill up the well. Now this took 3 different pours over 3 different days, so it took a little bit of time, but that's okay. It turned out great. I think it looks pretty snazzy. So here's just some green paint and normal PVA glue, and this is where the terrain part of it is, the grass. I put some static grass all over here, and also put some bushes. You can see here I'm starting to glue some bushes onto the side here, just to make it a little bit more interesting, so it's not just grass. I wanted some other elements to it. So I went with some dark green bushes, and then I also glued on a few vines to the actual well, and that looked really good. Here you can see I also put a little bit of dead leaves just for some color pop, and I thought that looked really good. So I glued the little bucket on full of water, and then I glued the roof structure on, and that was pretty much it. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please come again for more. We'll see you guys soon.